You guys, exciting stuff today. I went through last night and I reorganized one of my books and I got some really good stuff for you because if you've been watching the videos and you know about the 18th and 19th and the missing time and how Kirk said he doesn't know where he was, I'll sum it up for you. If you follow the media, you know that on the 16th it was said that, Prince went and had the Paisley Park After Dark party to show everybody that he was still okay. And then during the testimony that I've read, he says that he doesn't know if he saw, and I have this all labeled. I just went out of order. So I'll read it to you in a minute, but I'm going to sum it up. He said that he didn't know if he saw Prince or whatever, the 17th or 18th. And then there was some discrepancies about what happened on the 19th and the timing. So I've got some pretty tight timing for you for the Sparky. I'm sorry, I don't have time to answer your questions and speak. I talk about the Prince Rogers Nelson investigation. It's nice to have you here, but I don't really have time to answer live questions explaining what I'm doing. Anyway, the 18th and 19th, there was discrepancies that I explained before about Kim Pratt, Larry Graham, Prince Kirk, and everybody didn't know where they were. And we're going to go over that again. But what I found out and why I called this Meron and JR is because I spoke pretty heavily about Ray Roberts before, and People's Organic said to be the chefs at Paisley Park. And come to find out, there was some text or emails between his wife, Juell, Juell, Roberts. So her initials, which I found last night, are JR. So I'm going to back up and tell you now. I'm going to go in order, and it's all very relevant because, listen, I'm not here to accuse anybody of anything, you guys. I know I come here and I'm sarcastic a lot and I joke a lot and I call Prince Kirk Prince and this and that, but I do have the divine intervention and the divine hearing from the Creator, but a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, I have to put together myself. He doesn't just hand me all this. It's an ever expanding experience for me. So when I find something intriguing, I'm going to bring it back to you guys. So I have this in order. I need to reiterate a couple things that we've already talked about, but it'll get to the exciting part that, like I said, I'm not here to say that Juell did anything. I'm just here to expose that she had email that Ray Roberts said she didn't have. And as we go in order, you'll find out what I'm saying is true and accurate. And since you guys like investigative paperwork, that's the way we're going to do it. Again, I just want to reiterate, Larry Graham said that the last time he saw Prince was on Monday, April 18th. Graham stated Prince had asked Graham to come to Paisley Park to show so that Prince could show Graham his new guitar and talk about Graham playing at Paisley Park again, even though he hadn't played there in umpteen billion years. Anyway, Graham said he met with them on the 18th about 8 p.m. That's what he said. Now listen, he said Graham stated they, Kirk Johnson, Meron Bacure, and Prince Nelson. The file says Prince Nelson, and it's very relevant, you guys, as we've talked about. So he calls Kirk Johnson, Meron Bacure, and Prince Nelson had eaten prior to Graham coming to Paisley Park. Graham stated they met in the small club known as NPG, and they talked about the upcoming tour. Now, listen, that's important. I talked about that before, but that shows us that Larry Graham said he was with him, Kirk, and Meron at 8 o'clock on the 18th. And still yet we have Kirk saying he doesn't know when he saw Prince last. So that's odd right off rip, right? I just want to state that Prince's brother Omar stated he was concerned because Larry Graham, he believed, was Prince's handler. And he felt that Larry Graham was taking advantage of Prince and had once lived in one of Prince's homes. However, they recently had a falling out because Prince was upset Larry would sit around and not do anything. Omar said his brother believed in hard work and did not like freeloaders. And even though Prince and Larry were on the outs, they still did business together. And Larry was a regular at Paisley Park After Dark parties. So if Omar is saying that, Prince didn't like Larry and that he was on the outs with them and he hadn't performed with them for I don't know how many years. And then Graham, also, if you listen to the audio interviews that are available online and read a little bit more about it, the police officer that went to go interview him, the van drove back and forth a couple times and he pretended to not be him and then he was him. And it's a really weird reading. So interesting there, but that's really just to establish the 8 o'clock timeline on the 18th. Now, you guys, this is what Kirk said, just to remind you. Kirk told me he did not see Prince on Sunday, April 17th. Kirk did not think he saw Prince again until Tuesday evening, April 19th, 2016. So why did Larry just tell us that he saw Kirk, Johnson, Prince, and Meron in the small MPG club on Monday the 18th? Kirk didn't believe he saw Prince on Sunday the 17th, and he didn't think he saw him again until the 19th. Around 8 or 8:30, when they had a meeting with Prince, Larry Graham, Meron Bakir, and Kirk. So Kirk is testifying to something to the effect of that same meeting, but he said it was Monday the 19th. Blah, blah, blah. You guys, we talked about that before. Now, we know that Raymond Russell was the last person to have seen Prince pull up at Paisley Park approximately 8 o'clock, they say, on the 21st. But I want to stay here on the 19th for a minute. I said that for myself because he was in my file. Hold on. Okay, so you guys, also on the, sorry. Oh, Robert's got there. That's out of order. Just a second. Back to the 19th, you guys. Meron, this is what I wanted to talk about. So Kim Pratt. Okay, let me get my own mind right. I have this in order, but I lost my train of thought. We have Graham stating they all met on the 18th. We have Kirk stating they met on the 19th. Now, we know that something's wrong because also on the 19th, you guys, we have Kim Pratt saying that Pratt said the last day she saw Prince was on 4/19, which matches the last phone contact Pratt had with Kirk Johnson. Pratt said she picked Prince up Tuesday evening, that would be the 19th, and brought him to the Dakota Jazz Club where he watched an upcoming jazz artist perform, et cetera, et cetera. And then he drove Prince to the Calhoun Beach Club where he had dinner with Meron, Hannah, and Josh Welton, and they all went to the Edina Theater where Prince rented out the entire theater so they could watch a movie. Pratt said she dropped Prince off around 2 a.m. and then dropped off Meron, Prince's assistant, at Country Inn and Suites where she was living. Now, that's very important, you guys, because not only do we have the discrepancy between the 18th and 19th and what day they were actually having this said meeting, could it have possibly been the 19th? Because Kim Pratt was busy taking them here, okay? So also, you guys, if Kim Pratt is driving them around from dinner to the beach club to the theater, and then they're meeting with Graham, Prince, and Kirk Nelson, then tell me this. We have an email on here, 4/19 at 6:51, or excuse me, 5:51 p.m. 5:51 p.m. Prince responds to Natalia Phillips, "Sorry, I fell asleep. It's been a long day. Talk later." Okay. So 6 o'clock, he's talking to Natalia Phillips on email. Let's see. We have to assume that if they went to dinner 4/19 or out to eat, what was it, 6, 7 o'clock, he's doing the emails, talking to Meron. But more importantly, you guys, what you want to see is this. And this is what I was found that was so exciting. And I'll get back to Ray Roberts' testimony because I went out of order like I always do. I know you can't see this teeny tiny writing, but this is Meron Bakir's, I don't know what they called it, but you can see that it's a printout from a computer screen. Do you see here up on the top where it shows print CDs? And then they have all the information blacked out. That's like an open window for a computer screen. So we would assume that this is an email. Okay. This was provided in the documentation, and it's at 4:19 at 9:31 p.m. So here at 9:31 p.m., we have emails and texts from Meron between Meron and JR, who I'm going to say is Juell Roberts, and I will explain to you why. You might be thinking big deal, but it's a big deal according to what Ray Roberts had to say. So anyway, this little messages, it goes back and forth, and it says, it's really small. It doesn't say much. It says talking now, but what's important to you guys is the way that reads. I don't know if you guys have ever not had a cell phone and had to jump online and use the computer.net or something.net website where you can get on and send texts or whatever through the computer. It looks like that's what they were doing because that's the way they show. But also it goes along with the fact that I've explained Ann Tollefson and the Jabber setup with how they use the Jabber system throughout the house. And I'll get into that too if you stick around. But anyway, what's important to know is on 4/19 at 9:31 p.m., you guys. So remember all the discrepancies, the 18th and 19th. They're driving around there at the Dakota Club. He's texting at 6 p.m. He fell asleep to Natalia Phillips. And here with Meron, we have Meron talking to Prince saying, cute. This is at 4:21 p.m. Cute. That's beautiful. Did you tell him you're grounded? LOL. And then Tuesday, April 19th, JR wrote, wanted me to sing The Most Beautiful Girl in the World for a Mother's Day special he's doing with Queen Latifah. And then I think the response was, oh, cute. That's beautiful. Did you tell him you're grounded? So I read that the wrong way. But the fact of the matter is, when I get to telling you that Ray Roberts said that they didn't have any contact via email, and you can say that I have no proof that who the JR is until Meron says on 4/19, pick up in the garage, ? Also, comma, can we please get the groceries? ! That's what I have highlighted in yellow. Take yourself a screenshot. So what? You still might be thinking, nobody knows where they were, the 17th, 18th, 19th. But I have to go back here to what Ray Roberts had to say, you guys, because it's very important that you understand that he said, well, first, I'll have to do this the way I can. I have it in order, but then I can never go in order. Kirk was being interviewed, and I mentioned this on the other video, but I didn't have the paperwork. And it says, Kirk said Prince was not someone to eat breakfast. So there would be no reason for the cook to come to Paisley this early. This is file number 16000-12559, line 18. At the very tail end, Kirk said Prince was not someone to eat breakfast, so there would be no reason for the cook to come to Paisley this early. Kirk said Prince would occasionally drink alcohol, usually wine, but that Prince was not a big drinker. You can see he's doing dual references. But anyway, the point is, Kirk just said that the cook there was no reason for them to come this early. So was he there in the morning? So we're going to go back to what Ray Roberts had to say. I'm going to read you some things here that you might have heard before, but I'm going to put it all together for you. Asked Roberts what his relationship was. You guys, first of all, People's Organic. There's some question about why. In my mind, I know why. But here, on page 44 of the book, Dan writes, still, the overall mood was one of somber respect. Bremer had maintained Prince's on-site dietary restrictions, so we brought in vegan lunches from a local co-op. Bremer had maintained Prince's on-site dietary restrictions. Bremer Bank, Bremer Cooks, Bremer. Why is the LLC for People's Organic? If you read it, and again, I'm not here to insult, it establishes, if you read it online, that Ray says he's been the chef since 2013. And then on their online thing profile, it says that Juell, I hope I'm saying that right, has been the cook there for at least 3 years and is still working at Paisley Park. So interesting, I'm just letting you guys know what I know. So he followed up with Ray. He was supposedly maybe seen there in the morning by Kirk and said there was no reason for the chef to be there that early. And what I wanted to say too is that he said that Prince would request food that he brought, blah, blah, blah. Ray said that he got to the studio about 7:30. He said that Meron had requested food prepackaged and he was bringing it over. And he was there when the black truck got back, and they waved him in. However, in another testimony, Meron says that she had to go back to Paisley Park at 7 to let in the cook. So there's some discrepancy there too. I'll find that for you too. But Ray says that he was there at 7:30, 7:45 when they got there. And then Meron said that she got there at 7 to let the chef in, and that's in her testimony. So discrepancies all around. One moment. Roberts, this is important because this is what's important between the emails and JR asking Meron for groceries on the 19th after nobody knows where Prince is and the last time he was seen physically alive and so forth and so on. Roberts explained that Prince would communicate through phone or in person. I asked Roberts if he got any shopping lists for Prince's groceries. Roberts stated he would get it through email, word of mouth, or by phone. Roberts then clarified that Roberts would get text messages from Bakir. So after he said email, he stopped and clarified because he probably knew that his wife was friends and somehow emailing and that they were asking for groceries. Anyway, he said Roberts then clarified that Roberts would get text messages from Bakir. Roberts stated other individuals would relay information to Roberts. And then again, as I mentioned, he stated the ongoing joke was that Prince didn't use cell phones. Now, he's always reiterating what he's saying. He's always changing what he's saying. He said he didn't talk to Prince on the phone, that he always talked to him word of mouth or through somebody else. But then Ray Roberts said that he spoke to Prince on Saturday morning on the phone. He said he didn't get grocery lists through email after he reiterated what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? They're always going back and stepping on their own words. So Roberts also stated in the past that his wife would help him out at Prince's studio. Roberts stated lately he was able to handle the workload by himself, so his wife didn't come with. Roberts stated on Wednesday, 4/20/2016, his wife wasn't with him at the studio. But see, the workload would have been heavy because they had the party on the 16th, the Paisley Park After Dark parties. From that texting that I shared with you guys on the PK videos, they were texting out pictures from the 17th as well. Which would have been Sunday. They were doing parties there. So all weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So why would the workload have been low when he had not needed his wife's assistance? And why was Meron asking for groceries on the 19th about meeting in the garage with exclamation points? Moreover, you guys, as we've shared, Prince Rogers Nelson was shown and depicted in the media as a dying, losing weight, getting old, frail, taking fentanyl-laced Norco. His appetite ain't going to be all that, and he ain't going to want any groceries anyway. So you know that there's something else going on here. We know that we have the medical emergency doctor reports that say that his bicarbs were so low that you could tell he wasn't eating in some time. Okay, so why all the groceries? So I think it's a pretty big deal that she's talking to his wife. Again, also that if you watch the other videos, you know that the text that Ray Roberts and Prince or PK had texted before about the water bottle that had probiotics in it, and that's what they found the liquid, the bottle. I discussed it in the other video, so I don't want to be redundant. And again, I'm not here to accuse, because you know what? For all I know, maybe somebody helped somebody. I don't know. I'm just trying to discover and let you guys know that what the media sold is so far removed. You know what I mean? With all these things. And I know you guys may not have the patience or time to put all these parts together, but we do. So also what's really important to know, you guys, is, how we talked about Renville Wellington, the Canadian bodyguard that nobody seems to know anything about. It's getting a little chilly in here. I have his phone records, and I want to show you something. Just a second. I have the door open so the cat can come in. So it's a little chilly. Renville Wellington on the 19th, you guys. These are his. Now, see, the media won't tell you about Renville Wellington, but I've already established with you guys that he is the Canadian bodyguard that when you look through print or Kirk's phone records, or how the media sells him, if they mention him at all, they call him the former groundskeeper, and they try to pass off that that's why 70% of Kirk's phone calls were between him and him on these days. But then we come to find out that it isn't just Kirk's phone records that we have, that these Renville Wellingtons, these are from the Go phone that I talked about before. And I went back on my computer and found them. So from 3/23/16, as you guys can see, you could 3/23/16. That's important because that's the day that the Kingdom Hall does what they call Christ Remembrance or something like that. And that's the day that Larry Graham said that Prince came back from the Canadian tour to do that remembrance with him. So remember, we have Prince PK coming back on the 19th from Canada, or excuse me, on the 23rd from Canada. I'm sorry. Yeah, March 23rd, which is the very first day he starts texting with Renville on the Go phone, is the same day of Christ's Remembrance. Now, also, before I go any further on that, I want to show you something. And that is that they state also that from 3/22 to 4/21, over 70% of the calls made to and from Paisley Park in the last month were to and from the number blah, blah, blah. And that's to Natalia Phillips. She is the model actress that I've shown you guys on YouTube and on Facebook and everywhere else. And people would be like, so what? She's 5'7". Well, so is Kirk. And, people can do things. Anyway, so not only do we have the dates that coincide with all this remembrance that we're doing with Natalia, the model lookalike, but we also have the coinciding phone calls with Renville Wellington and the Go phone starting on 3/23. Now, there's also a bunch of them on 3/31, which I haven't figured out what went on 3/31 yet, but I'm sure I'll have to go back and look at the incident reports and we'll catch that too. Also important to know, on 4/14 and 4/15, there are 1, 2, 3 pages of text, 4/14 and 4/15. And then the last, basically, page and a half would be on the 19th. So on all the pertinent dates of all of the things that are wrong with the file, we have Kirk on his phone, and I could show you his records if you want. We have the Go phone, which they found out belonged to Renville Wellington and was actually set up in the fall of 2015, right around the time that Kirk contacted Dr. Schulenberg. Phaedra was getting the NPG publishing established and signed for in Oakland in January. But it's real important for you guys to know these things, because the media doesn't tell you what they were doing all these days. They tell you they canceled the flu on the 7th, the 14th, and then the 21st, bam, he was just dead. Well, welcome to my channel, and thank you for being here. You can see they had a pretty big, look, you guys, I want to show you something. when you look at Kirk's records, his phone records, it's important for you to see it with your own eyes. These are the records that were provided from Kirk. And do you see how at the top it says Renville, Wellington, Protocol 7 Security, Renville, Dr. Schulenberg, and I could go on and on and on, but we've talked about this before. This is what I mean when they that sold the media story wrote off Renville, Wellington as the Protocol 7 Security. So then we have all the sevens that we're going to watch fall. But they call him the former groundskeeper is what I meant to say. So I just wanted to show you so you can see with your own eyes. We have Renville, Wellington Go Phone, Kirk's records, and they're doing some devious dirt over there, you guys. It's like Paisley Park was a compound, and that's what Dan referred to it as. He called it what he said about the Chanhassen Country Inn and Suites, he called it a de facto substation for Paisley Park. He said that one guy had been there so long that he broke the recumbent bike, somebody that was working at Paisley Park. But yet they want you to believe that there's nobody to do these interviews. There's nobody to find out information from. You know what the media story was. So anyway, you guys, back to the 19th. How could Prince be in all these places at once? Okay. I've discussed the other videos with you. And now we have JR talking to Meron asking for groceries. Okay. Also, you guys, on 4/20 at 5:35, we have the emails between Prince and Nicole Scherzwinger, which is very weird because that's that former Pussycat Doll lady or something like that, stating, yes, that would be a butterfly and all the crazy stuff going on afterwards. But I was trying to stick to the same timeline. I really just wanted to come here and talk about the 19th, you guys, and the way that Ray and Juell were texting and emailing, because I got really excited about that, because I'll tell you why. Way back in 2016, well, before that, when I heard the breakdown song, obviously, I told you I knew something was going to happen. But then in 2016 on 4/21, shortly after, and I started thinking about how odd it all was, like the little voice whispered in my ear, and it was like something about the chef, and it just whispered in my ear. Now, again, maybe somebody got a bunch of fentanyl for somebody, or maybe somebody did somebody a favor. I'm not here to accuse anybody or point fingers or call names. It's just from all the research that I've done, you guys, they're hiding a bunch of devious dirt. I told you, Paisley Park was not what the media sold. It's not. I have this whole notebook, you guys, broke down, okay, into all the things that we've talked about before. But what I would like to do is, I don't know, it's half hour long. I have some time. It goes in order, because what I'm trying to do is put the whole case together for you in one big video. And if I had into some editing skill, it might be a little easier. But I've told you guys before, there are many case file numbers. There's a case file number. I don't know if you care about them, but I'm going to mention them in case you're doing your own research. The case file number 160125559, that case appears to be, and I say appears to be, a remake of the file that starts with 2016. Now, the rest of the number is somewhat the same, but the file number 2016-000-12559. In that file, when you do your investigative paperwork like I have, you find out that the reports, and I put all of this together. I try to show you guys. It gets to be, with my big books, but I feel like it might help you to understand. You get to know that there are actually 9 911 calls the morning of 4/21. In the 2016 file, there are 9 911 calls reported at 9:43, and it's reported in the calls for service log. Okay, I could show it to you, but it gets to be a hassle turning pages. And then the official paperwork that they put out for it, it states that the call was made at 9:43 and 27 seconds. However, when you read the other file, the 160, when you look at the files like I do, you can see where they take the file number and wrote it on the top of the other one and then faxed it over, and then Sandy Meyer is faxing Mark Metz on 118 of 18 the information from the 2016 file to put in the 160 file. They're the same, but they changed the information a little bit. And I've explained this to you guys before. For instance, they took Jason Cameron's statement about the 21st because he included that Chanhassen Fire Chief and Ridgeview EMTs and everybody was there. But then they take and they cut and splice his statement to include very generic information. It's because, for one, they're reporting on the death of a Prince Nelson, somebody named Prince Nelson. I don't know if it's one of their clones, one of their lookalikes. When you go through all the incident reports, as I said, there's dirty deeds going on over there, you guys. Also, the 911, the incident report from Carver County, when you look through it, it's a big old blotter report. I'll show you what it looks like. This one right here. Every time there's an incident at Paisley Park between these dates, they talked about what it was and they give it a blotter ICR number up here at the top. Well, from the incident on 4/21, the blotter number is actually the 2016-000125559. So what I'm saying is part of the investigation was accurate, part of it's cut and pasted, and I'm just trying to give you guys some hints as to what to look for. You'll see that they changed. What they change is little things. Like they say that there was a call for a man down on the ground, not breathing. Why would a man be on the ground, not breathing? You know what I mean? Just like when they do the FAA phone call, they say someone not breathing. It's never, hey, Prince Rogers Nelson, is dead here. Let's do something fast. It's never that. It's all this made up stuff. And I hope I'm making sense to you because I feel a little bit like I'm rambling, and I apologize because I sit down and I put this all in order. What I'll do is maybe I'll go back and start from scratch in another video and just discuss with you guys like I had before. But I did it a lot in the PK Kirky J video. But I feel like if I do it in a more organized fashion, there's joy in repetition and show you the documentation that I have in order. Because eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this around. I'm going to take it around in my neighborhood. I'm going to start sharing it. I'm going to take the People magazines with me. And I'm going to let people know exactly what is wrong and why, because it's unacceptable. You guys, whether or not I had these life after life experiences and met Prince Rogers Nelson, God, the creator, I would still be doing this because I'll say it again. It's my sole purpose and it brings me great pleasure. And I hope it does you guys too, because getting to the bottom of it is like everybody knows that it was wrong and how wrong it was. I always feel like I should just keep on talking, but maybe I'll just make another video and go in order and show you the witnesses. Today, I just really wanted to touch on the 18th, 19th discrepancies, and you guys can go and find out why they would do something like that. It was new and exciting for me. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear. I don't know. I know people are watching, but I don't get much feedback. I don't know why. I'm happy to be here. Hopefully you appreciate it. I know it's a lot of cool stuff on the walls, right? I have a lot to say, you guys. I just don't always know how to say it because all this stuff is so new to me, coming here and sitting and talking in front of a computer screen, trying to express to you my deepest, darkest thoughts, emotions, how I learned how to talk to God, how it's not just some girl who comes here in her pink cashmere, white, fluffy coat and has a crush on somebody that she wants to call God. It's just not. And I know that some of you guys might think that, and I pray you don't make that mistake because I'm quite serious. I'm not going to put on different clothes or change myself to tell the truth. Like, that would be false. You know what I mean? Coming here and being somebody I wasn't to tell you the truth would be false. And there's no truth in falseness. So my message is deep. I might seem goofy and sarcastic and whatever I seem to you. I don't know. I'm lots of fun, I'm sure. I mean, I know I am. I entertain myself. I have the Creator to entertain me. It's my best buddy. But I have to get more serious, I think. I have to come here and I want to tell you guys about how to talk to him. Because I'm still learning, and just do it always like he's my best friend, because it's all I've ever had. And, believe it or not, we are all he has. And he was left with this generation of people who don't even believe in their own selves. So how can they believe in him? So I'm trying to help you know that God is real, that the Creator Hashem, he loves you and he wants to be your best friend. Even when you're dirty, you should clean yourself, though, you guys. Like, I'm not just being sarcastic. My rabbi was talking about how, homeless people, think about it, homeless people, they don't get to take showers and stuff, and it degrades you inside. They don't get to brush their teeth. They get to go and get their haircuts and feel much better about themselves. It changes a person. So what I mean to say is, you're okay to go as you are, because your soul is what it is on the inside, but clean yourself, you guys. Take a shower, brush your teeth, love yourself, love your children, make them bathe. It's very important to be clean, just to be clean. When this spiritual journey started for me in the spring of 2020, I was a chick, some days I'd throw my hair in a ponytail, not shower, you know what I mean? It's just very important. I just really feel the need to impress that to people out there. If you have the water and you have the will, get up, get your tail in the shower, because it makes you feel like a whole new person. And then when you get out, get dressed, talk to God. He's right there with you anyway. There's phenomenal paranormal things going on, you guys. And when I stood in my life after life, you guys, one of the things that blew my mind, and I'll tell you again, was that I had to earn my way to talk to the Creator, but these angel protectors would always tell me, you can't, because people come with too much falseness, and they come with too much lies and too much falseness. And I was like, no, I haven't lied like that. I was always talking to the Creator and just tell him the truth anyway. Because another very tripped out thing that I heard my rabbi saying was that, like, when I died and I went to heaven, I had this thing happen to me where it was like this judgment day, like literally had to answer and had everything explained to me. But what my rabbi was talking about is how on judgment day, which is coming very, very soon, your brother, your sister, your mother, your grandmother, your wife, your children, God is going to hear all your lies. So I keep harping on this because I come here to tell truth, not only of the investigation file, but to tell you what he told me too. And that is that the more that we can tell the truth and talk to him like that and do our Hitbadadut prayers, then it frees him, you guys. It frees him. It makes him lighter, and like this fluffy coat, we can all fly and be united and be one. But you got to do your part too. You just do. And you just got to be your best you. You ain't got to be fancy. I got sweatpants down here on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a basement, but I'm making the most of it. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're living in your car, if you don't know where you're going to get your diaper, God forbid, you know what I mean? Text me. I'll help you. I know all kinds of resources. I've been on my own since I've been 15, basically 13, but I had my own house since I was 15 years old, and I raised 4 children, and now I have 9 grandchildren. And the journey that I have trekked has been something that I would like to come here and share with you guys, because I can hopefully maybe teach you about how I signed out my journal and talked to the Creator and just prayed about everything, no matter where I was or what I was doing. I want you guys to do it too. It'll be freeing for everybody, and you'll come to know that I'm very serious. And I love you guys very much. And I'm going to get some more thoughts together and change my fluffy probably and maybe make another video. Okay. So thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoyed the JR. We can't say who shot JR. What can we say about JR? I don't know. Let's find out who she is. We know who she is, but why? Thanks for watching, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.